Talk about fake stream, mainstream media, and also just kind of give some perspective on where I think we are with that. And 60 years ago, we only had one source of information or a few, and that would be the newspaper, hearsay, or the TV, right? So we had to trust these sources of information. Whether they were telling us the truth all along, we really don't know. And the more information that comes out, we're actually discovering that there are a lot of things that we've been lied about in the past. Okay, so now, in this day and age, we have access to information online. Like, we don't have to have CNN repeat to us something that we can find out ourselves online. They may have access to information that we don't, and that's probably true, and they probably withhold a good bit of that information that they have access to. Also, we have to look at motive, right? So if you're getting your information from someone like me, right, which I appreciate it, and also I appreciate everyone watching, if you're getting your information from someone like me, then you want to question my motive, right? Why would I be sitting here in front of my phone with this microphone hooked up, wasting my time, right? Is it for likes? Am I trying to get attention? Am I getting paid? Certainly not getting paid. And if it's about likes, I think that there are probably like greater topics that people get more likes. Like I see some really corny videos, like some of the, like if I wanted to get likes, I could just play video games and say stupid stuff, and these people make millions of dollars on YouTube. So obviously likes aren't what I'm going for. This is something that I'm passionate about, and this is something that I'm expressing to you the truth as I understand it based on the information that I've had up until this point. And I'm always open to information. I mean, in the comments, I learned so much. This Pizzagate thing has brought together some of the most brilliant minds on the internet, and I have really made friends with some people that, like, across the nation and across the globe. I don't know. There is the silver lining, I guess, to all of this horrible information coming out, and that is the uniting of the community. Also, the community that's uniting, it's really sick. We used to be called conspiracy theorists and laughed at, right? But now, if someone's actually believing the narrative of the mainstream media, they are sort of the joke these days. And I mean, that's a beautiful thing. I wanted to say a little something about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. If you remember back around the election, there were a lot of things that were going to be released, and I think he only got like halfway through releasing these things, and then there was like a huge pause, and nobody's actually seen Julian Assange except for in these interviews, which may or may not be CGI. I'm not going to get into that. There are videos about that, and I encourage you guys to watch those. Again, this is my perspective. I'm not going to rehash something that somebody else has really laid out beautifully with video proof of how it's completely possible to, like for instance, this could be a CGI representation of just something, the words that I had said some other time, and then someone just pieced this together. That's how intricate the technology is now. And we know from watching movies like Transformers or whatever that they can do a very good job of making things look real. So nobody has seen Julian Assange other than these interviews. Nobody has seen him waving from the embassy or seen him alive other than these interviews. So also, WikiLeaks went from releasing information, and they stopped the release of information, and now they're sort of doing this teaser type thing that was, that is, I haven't seen that from them before. That may or may not have been compromised. I'm not sure, but we have to really be thankful for Julian Assange, and if he's alive, he probably is, but he may or may not be in the best of conditions. He may be in a very awkward predicament. But either way, if that's the case, he sacrificed himself for us, for everybody to have information and to have these discussions that we're having now. So these discussions that we're having now, the popularity of these discussions that we're having now, are forcing it to be an issue with law enforcement. And supposedly there was these arrests in California. There has been a pedophile bust in Haiti at this hotel. And I know there are a few things happening. Supposedly this week, today being Wednesday, there's supposed to be some political arrest. which is what we're all looking for. Now, of course, the ultimate goal for each of us is not just to see someone hanged in the street, which in ancient times, this is what they would have done when they figured out information like this. They would have drugged the king out in the middle of the square and threw him in the guillotine. But these days, it's not like that, you know, and as much as we get satisfaction from that, I don't think any of us are bloodthirsty. Those are the people that are bloodthirsty are the people that we're against. What we actually want to see is kids released and to have a confident understanding that as of right now, this time and day, there's not a child that is going through some severe abuse, sexually and otherwise. That's what we actually want. It's not just to see people tried and whatever. It's this is for the kids. It's all out of love. It's like, you know, we're also being distracted in a lot of different ways. We're being divided like about things like this, immigration policy and the building of the wall and things like this. And build the wall or don't build the wall, it really doesn't matter. But can we please figure out this pedophile situation first? Can we put that anywhere near the top of the list? Like, I know for most of us, especially for the people watching this video, obviously it is the top of the list. It's the list. There is no other list other than that right now, and once we get that off the list, then we can start addressing issues like this wall and immigration. And I know that these issues are of the utmost importance, but I assure you that when you remove some of the pedophilia and the occultist nature from our government, a lot of these problems are going to resolve themselves. It's like the people who have been making these decisions that are putting us in these predicaments are the same people that have this wicked mind frame. And I'm going to go real quick on this wicked mind frame, and you know, you guys forgive me if I go too far, but I'm just going to go with what I believe. Okay, so to sit here and think that a person is just born sadistic, right? Like they just are just born with this need to, and don't get me wrong, from what I understand, you know, there is nurture in nature. Okay, so maybe some people are born where they just want to like pluck the eyeballs out of birds and they just have that in them. But some people who pluck the eyeballs out of birds were also like abused as children, whether it be sexually or otherwise, right? It could be mentally. And this thing with the like high portion of our politicians being involved in this, and a high portion, whether it be a third or a quarter or whatever, that's a high percentage of people. Like I have, let's think of 5 friends that I know. I'm pretty sure none of those people are pedophiles. So for there to be a third of the people that are running our government involved in things like this is an extremely high percentage. And the reason for that is, you know, there's many different reasons, many different aspects, and I'll just try to brief over them. One of them is the blackmail aspect, right? So it's like you can groom an individual from the time that they're a youth, which means you could put them under sexual abuse themselves, so that eventually they become the abuser and that they're a winner in the situation, not to mention they're mentally broken by this time. So then when they're older, like John Podesta, which I don't know whether or not he was abused as a child, but he very well could have been in his grooming process. You know, otherwise, he was just a sick individual, right? So, and I know that for a pedophile, there's probably great joy in having sex with a child, right? It may be the same kind of joy that a person would have in having sex with a partner that they're attracted to, whether it be a gay person or a straight person or whomever, right? I get that part of it, but that doesn't make it anywhere near okay. Especially when it's non-consensual and this person is like way below your age and you're sort of damaging their mentality. Also, I wanted to say that part of my belief is, and I'm not going to great detail here, some of you may or may not know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to sort of brief this, is I believe that there is a dark aspect. There are many dimensions to our reality, and within these dimensions there are entities that are also that are aware of us while we're not aware of them in the same way. And these entities can feel or feed from our energy. I believe that for whatever reason, the energy that resonates with these entities is our lower vibrational energy, our lower vibrational frequencies, which would be like our fear, anxiety, and things like that. So thinking of it like an alligator and he eats a bird, right? It's like, I think that consciously the alligator could care less if the bird's life, you know, if he ruins the bird's day or if the bird had a family or whatever, because essentially the alligator only wants the energy that is released when it is digesting this bird. In the same sense, I don't think that these entities have it out for us in any other way than what benefits them. So it's not like they're just sitting around plotting on like, yeah, we just want to make humans' life suck just for the hell of it. I think it's more like, unfortunately for humans, this is what we feed from. So, you know, since they're a different species from us, just like what we do with cows, right? We treat them horribly. They live a horrible life. They're pigs or chickens or something like this, like the food that we eat, we treat them like they are just nothing. Like they're just, okay, so to start to wrap your mind around the fact that some other life force could treat us in the same fashion shouldn't be beyond the scope of possibility. You know, it's a very humbling thought and it's a terrifying thought, but you know, sometimes we have to be humbled, or we have to, I don't know, just sometimes in accepting reality, we have to accept scary truths as well. And again, I'm not going to go really far into these entities or anything like this, but I believe that there probably is a way to not let them feed from us, and it would probably take a little work on ourselves collectively, but also individually, to sort of break away from that frequency band that is being created, this matrix type situation. So I guess I probably went too far, and I'm just going to slide right on back into the facts. And let's just say this. We're going to keep posting about Pizzagate. We're going to keep talking about pedophilia, and not because we see it, we're not going to, you know, stop what we're doing because there were 474 arrests in California, which I haven't even seen any person named in these arrests, okay? So I'm not saying that it didn't happen, and I hope that it did. If it did, I'm glad. And if it did, I really hope that it's part of the push from all of us, right? But we're not going to stop, though. We're not going to take someone throwing us a bone and then just, yay, we won, because it's not the case. You know, we haven't won until we at least see the names on these lists go down. And then the names that are connected to them go down. And then we're going to start to see this winning. Because for now, we're seeing headlines, and these headlines are sort of hinting at that. Like even that, I believe it was a Department of Homeland Security video or something, and it was talking about, you know, all the signs are everywhere for child trafficking, and then it was like a pizza shop and all this stuff. So, you know, there are definitely a lot of clues that there could be something big in the works right here, but it's yet to happen. And when it does happen, we have to keep the pressure on. If you got over a third of the politicians involved, probably 90% of the finances involved, all of the mainstream media involved in covering this up, and then you've got us, the people, pressing from the opposite side, forcing there to be more information released, forcing there to be investigation, forcing there to be arrest. And they're going to start throwing us bones. They're going to start throwing us small arrest. And the moment we stop talking about it is the moment the arrest will stop. So we've got to talk about it more and more and more. Yes, it is exciting to be hearing hints of something happening, right? But that doesn't mean that we can just start celebrating, right? I mean, we drink wine now still because it sucks, right? To help deal with the pain. We don't drink wine in celebration. We celebrate the unity, you know, we celebrate the truth, you know, that's all beautiful. But in all actuality, this is just an extremely sad state of affairs. And I'm not talking about, you know, I've talked about pedophilia more in the past few months than I would have ever cared to talk about in my life, you know. This is definitely not a topic that I'm interested in. I hate movies even where there's like a child being mistreated or like women being kidnapped or raped and things like this. I mean, I'd much rather watch a damn ghoul or a demon fucking rip people to shreds than, you know, see like, you know, innocent people just being treated by fellow humans in a very sadistic way, you know, that just hurts my soul. So anyway, I'm done talking about it today. Talk to you guys soon. Love you.